A girl named Chizuru offers her body for money. Her client Kazuya took her out on a date with his friend and his girlfriend. But his friend's girlfriend asks if Chizuru is a rental girlfriend, appearing to have found out about her job. Chizuru denies it and returns to Kazuya telling him about it. He starts to panic that if Shun learns, the whole school will hear it too. When he goes to the bathroom, Chizuru tells Ruka that she is mistaken and they are really dating Kazuya. Ruka then asks them to kiss, and Chizuru, having no options, kisses Kazuya. However, he covers their faces with her phone and places her right hand between their lips. Ruka is not convinced as she couldn't see it. Shun returns and wonders what they talked about. Kazuya quickly comes up with something and says that Chizuru had to visit her grandma and she leaves. He decides to stay with Shun and Ruka to make sure she doesn't tell him. They see Ruka off, and Kazuya is kind of surprised how short Shun's date was. As Ruka can tell Shun anytime, he decides to go after her, but she waits for him behind the corner and states that this must confirm that they weren't really dating. Ruka confronts Kazuya, but he still tries to deny it. She tries to leave, but in his attempt to stop her, he touches her breast, and she hits him with her bag. He keeps following her, asking her to not reveal that Chizuru is rental girlfriend, but Ruka guesses he rented her for shallow reasons. Kazuya then explains everything and again asks her to promise to not tell. Ruka gets frustrated, saying that she was sure that people who went for rental girlfriends were shallow and superficial, and runs away. She was about to bump into an elderly woman, but noticed her and manages to avoid her. However, she loses her balance and is about to fall on the stairs, but Kazuya manages to grab her and fall with her, softening the impacts. Kazuya still begs Ruka to not tell anyone. He doesn't care about himself, but it will cause trouble for Chizuru. Ruka then reveals she is a rental girlfriend too. Kazuya later meets Chizuru and tells her about Ruka being a rental girlfriend. Chizuru then figures out how she knew and finds the agency for which Ruka works. They decide to keep an eye on Ruka, as they can't be sure she won't tell anyone. The next day, Kazuya waits for Shun when Ruka shows up in his college. She tells him she came to see him, and seeing Shun coming, they run and hide. Ruka tells Kazuya to hug her to confirm something, but as Shun comes, they hide under a desk. As they hug under it, she checks her phone and it makes a noise. Shun ends up hearing it and finds them. Ruka then thanks him for renting her, which shocks Shun, who then runs embarrassed. As he couldn't find Shun, Kazuya goes home and talks with Chizuru over the door. He explains the situation, but then is shocked to see Ruka showing up. She explains that Shun told her he lives here when they passed by. Seeing that Chizuru is his neighbor, Ruka gets frustrated, wondering how far their relationship stretches. She promises to not tell anyone about Chizuru being a rental if he goes out with her. She explains that she fell for him, and if he treats a rental girlfriend that well and even risks his life on the ferry for her, then he will treat his actual girlfriend even better. Chizuru and Kazuya speak about the situation, and Kazuya states that he doesn't like Ruka, but does find her cute, but he can't go out with her due to his friend Shun. Eventually, he decides to go find Shun and tell him that Chizuru is also a rental, and that way, they can save the situation, and he keeps it a secret too. As he attempts to leave, Ruka sees him and chases him, explaining that she was looking for someone like him for a long time, and that she purposely broke her relationship with Shun in order to be with Kazuya. Kazuya still explains he can't do it because of his friend, which makes Ruka cry that he doesn't even want to give her a chance. Chizuru tells Kazuya to go out with Ruka as she does look like she really likes him, and just leaving her on her own can lead to lots of problems. Kazuya starts spending time with Ruka and completely stops renting Chizuru. However, he finds it quite hard to keep up with Ruka, as she wants them to talk on the phone at least 2 times a day, to like her tweets, to always read her messages, and there is still the fear she may expose his fake relationship with Chizuru. As Christmas is coming, Ruka visits Kazuya at the college, but he asks her to not come there as Shun could see them, and she agrees, and they make plans for Saturday to see a movie. Kazuya starts to miss Chizuru but finds out she is booked for Christmas. On the next day, he sees her all dressed up and meeting a boy. At first he thinks it's a client, but then figures out he can actually be her boyfriend. As he gets worried that may be true, he starts following them and finds the boy's name being Umi. He ends up watching a movie with them, eating lunch, and eventually hears that they will eat at his place. He decides to stop following her and realizes he lost her. He goes to a restroom, but to his surprise, Umi enters too. Umi's phone rings and he talks about Chizuru, stating that he will take her measurements later and that she has alluring voices. Kazuya takes it very suspiciously, thinking that Umi plans on tricking her into something. Convinced he is her boyfriend, but having bad intentions, Kazuya decides to keep following them. In front of a Christmas tree, he sees Umi about to kiss her and interrupts them. However, Chizuru explains that he was just fixing her earring and that they aren't a couple. She is surprised he knows about the dinner at his place place, but Umi guesses he means the acting script. Having no choice, Chizuru explains that she is an actress, but as she is just starting, the acting school is expensive, and that Umi is another actor from her school. Kazuya then wonders about the phone call in the restroom, and Umi explains he was trying to recommend Chizuru to a director he knows. After Umi leaves, Kazuya reveals that he has been following them since they met, and he decided to stop. But thinking that Umi may be a scumbag, he just couldn't let it go. As he starts to think that Chizuru is indeed from a different world than him, she gives him a present, a phone case since his phone is broken due to her. She wanted a boy's opinion, and Umi was only free today, but explains this isn't a present, but a token of apology. Kazuya starts crying as this is the first time a girl had given him something for Christmas. Kazuya is excited for his new phone case and thinks he is the only one that got a gift from a rental girlfriend. He goes to read the reviews and comments for Chizuru and sees other guys also got presents. The next day, he complains at Chizuru, stating that other guys may think something more, but she explains she is a girlfriend and it's normal to give presents. Even more, it's the agency's policy. She asks him if he likes her, but he declines, so she states they keep their relationship business only. Returning, Ruka intercepts them and is annoyed he went out with Chizuru and forces Kazuya to go on a date with her. At their date, Kazuya can't stop thinking of Chizuru, and Ruka decides to blindfold him and takes him to a love hotel. There, he sees Ruka taking off her socks. He panics and attempts to run, but Ruka stops him, asking him to tell her everything about his relationship with Chizuru. Kazuya again explains everything about his grandma, and Ruka tells him he can't keep up with the lie forever, and he can introduce her as his real girlfriend, so he won't need Chizuru anymore. Kazuya states it won't be easy to replace Chizuru, as his grandma really likes her, but Ruka is ready to start having sex. He runs into the bathroom, but as he leaves, Ruka had already left. At New Year, Kazuya takes Chizuru to meet her grandma and parents. As they arrive to everyone's surprise, Ruka shows up, stating that she will be joining them. Chizuru and Kazuya panic, but introduce her as a friend. Ruka quickly starts to flatter Nagomi. When they reach the restaurant, Nagomi wonders from where they know each other, and Kazuya explains Ruka is Chizuru's friend, but Ruka states he is his girlfriend. Nagomi tells everyone to enter, but wants to talk with Kazuya. Nagomi starts beating Kazuya for cheating on Chizuru and two-timing her. She tells him either he cut ties with them or is breaking up with Ruka. Kazuya explains that Ruka is a pathological liar, but usually is a nice girl, and Chizuru is too nice to cut her off. Nagomi believes that as she doubts Chizuru will let him two-time her, and also doubts that there are two girls that like him. Ruka tells Chizuru that they can't keep this lie forever and are just complicating things themselves. She guesses that Chizuru keeps this act as she wants to be his girlfriend, but if she doesn't want it, she must let her take the role as she is serious about Kazuya. Ruka also does that for some reason. During the dinner, Ruka feeds Kazuya. However, there is no reaction from Nagomi or his parents. She realizes something is strange and calls him elsewhere to talk. Nagomi and Kazuya's parents tell Chizuru that she is too nice as she manages to deal with Ruka. Elsewhere, Kazuya reveals that he told his grandma that Ruka is a pathological liar and she wants to fix it, but he stops her as they will think he is two-timing them. Ruka thinks that is fine, as she is the real girlfriend and doesn't like if she will need to pretend to be a friend around his family, but Kazuya just sneaks out. After dinner, Nagomi and Ruka end up being alone. Ruka plans on telling her everything and tries to convince herself to do it. However, Nagomi states that she is glad she met Ruka as she is friend of Chizuru, and she has tons of questions about her, what she likes, dislikes. Does she act the same while she isn't present? Ruka realizes that Nagomi doesn't want a girlfriend-in-law, but Chizuru herself. Chizuru then comes and is glad that she found them as they had lost them. Nagomi and the rest then continue towards the shrine. Chizuru tells Kazuya that everything is okay, and he goes and thanks Ruka for not telling his grandmother, and apologizes for telling her she is a liar. Ruka tells him that she feels it isn't the right time to tell her, but she isn't giving up on him, and it will be a battle of endurance. Ruka starts working at the same place as Kazuya, as it's a Chizuru-free place. As he thinks his luck can't get worse, Yoshiaki and other friends arrive at his workplace and mock him. Yoshiaki tells him about Shun acting weird and writing gloomy tweets. Kazuya figures it's due to Ruka and asks her to apologize, but she thinks that may only complicate things and she hasn't worked as a rental since they started dating. Kazuya starts thinking of how he can help his friend Shun, but figures it would be hard to cheer him as he thinks Kazuya has a girlfriend. He comes up with an idea and goes to Chizuru to ask her for a favor. The next day, he arranges a meeting with Shun. However, instead of Kazuya, Chizuru arrives and introduces herself as Shun's rental girlfriend. Shun can't believe it, and checks online, confirming that she is indeed a rental. He keeps his suspicious thinking that Kazuya may really be dating her as he jumped to save her on the ferry, and they may just be messing with him. They go to the amusement park and he refuses to enter, but seeing that Chizuru would still go alone, he decides to stay with her. Spending the whole day with her, Shun is reminded of what he misses and expresses his desire to really have a girlfriend. In the evening, he intends to pay Chizuru, but she states it's been paid already. He then sees Kazuya watching them, and Chizuru leaves them to talk for a bit. Hearing the whole story, Shun starts laughing at Kazuya, but feels relieved. Chizuru then returns, and Kazuya leaves. Shun asks Chizuru if a rental could fall for a client, and Chizuru recalls her conversation with Kazuya and how he was willing to embarrass himself, but to help his friend Shun, in order for him to not start hating women. She doesn't give Shun a definitive answer, which makes him start to believe she had fallen for Kazuya already. The next day, Kazuya receives a note from Chizuru asking him to meet her at the balcony that evening. He starts imagining what it may be, but as he goes on the balcony, Chizuru asks him to rent a friend of hers, Sumi Sakurasawa, as she recently started as a rental girlfriend, but she's quite shy and clients complain. Chizuru then asks him about Mami, and Kazuya explains they haven't talked since the beach and is no longer sure if he still loves her. Sumi explains her daily routine, when she gets up, how she takes the dog out, and goes to college. She doesn't like her girlfriend mode and is quite shy during her dates. Sumi is really looking up to Chizuru, wanting to be more like her. She looks up for Chizuru's advice, and Chizuru states that she needs more confidence and that she too was nervous in the beginning, but is also sure there are clients that will love her for who she is. The next day, Kazuya waits for Sumi and sees a girl hiding behind a column. He figures that's her, and she confirmed, but without saying any words. As they go for a coffee, he realizes how shy and introverted she is, as she doesn't even say anything. He takes her to bowling, but since it's her first time, she slips and falls. Kazuya asks her why she wants to be a rental girlfriend, and using gestures, she explains that she wants to change. Kazuya goes to get some drinks, but as he returns, he sees 3 guys hitting on Sumi. He doesn't want to get into a fight, but not wanting to disappoint Chizuru, he goes in and takes Sumi away. They go to different places and eventually do some ice skating. As Kazuya hits his nose, he goes to wash himself, and as he returns, he is surprised to see Mami with Sumi. Kazuya starts to panic and introduces Sumi, but is surprised she keeps the act as his girlfriend, as that will only make his situation worse. Mami asks Sumi if she can give them a few minutes to talk, and Kazuya agrees. Mami comments that Kazuya has really changed and is now with another cute girl. Before leaving, she tells Kazuya that she won't tell Chizuru about it. Later, as their date ends, Kazuya tells Sumi that she can take it nice and slow, and although she doesn't talk much, it was obvious she was really trying to make this a fun date, so he believes a nice girl like her can be a rental girlfriend. Sumi is reminded of Chizuru's word and calls Kazuya's name, telling him they will see again, and then leaves. Sumi later calls Chizuru, informing her how her date was and that he saved her from some punks. At home, Mami can't stop thinking of Kazuya. She is really surprised that he of all people is two-timing someone, and is surprised a cute girl like Sumi is interested in him. She couldn't find Sumi on social media, but searching her name, she finds out she is a rental girlfriend. Chizuru calls Kazuya on the balcony and thanks him for taking out Sumi, as she really enjoyed her time. Chizuru then explains she considers leaving her rental girlfriend job as the director Umi spoke to is interested in her, and will give her an acting role. Kazuya is sad to hear that, but thanks her for everything she had done for him. The next day, Chizuru has a date with a customer named Maya. However, the customer is revealed to be Mami. Kazuya agrees to go on a date with Ruka. Later, at their job, just as he is about to ask her to be his official girlfriend, he spots Mami and Chizuru heading into one of the rooms. Mami attempts to pay Chizuru, but she refuses. Mami then reveals how long she has known about Chizuru's occupation. When Chizuru wonders why Mami is doing this, she simply ignores her. Meanwhile, Kazuya finds out that Mami knows the true nature of his and Chizuru's relationship. Once they leave, he fakes an illness so he can follow them. When he finds them, Kazuya overhears Chizuru tell a skeptical Mami that he is her boyfriend. She then asks Mami if she has ever thought that he was truly the love of her life. However, Mami doesn't really answer. At night, Kazuya thanks Chizuru for speaking up for him. When she apologizes to him for not getting him a girlfriend, he confesses that he wants her. When questioned, he reluctantly says that he meant as a rental girlfriend. And that's it for now. Subscribe for more recaps like this.